Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome. It's the Watchpoint Postshow. We are live from the only place I want to be right now. It's the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. Welcome, everybody. If you don't know me by now, you didn't watch any of the show today. I'm Puckett. I got the whole crew. We've got Brett, we got Sideshow, and a very special, super smart man with a small beard and a great green shirt on. It's Hexagrams.
I have nothing to add to that. That's pretty descriptive, I think.
Hex, every show, we always like to start with, what did you learn today? And technically, I'm supposed to go to you first, but I'm going to jump in here right now and say, today, I learned that Hexagrams is the smartest man we've ever had on this analyst desk. He was the only one to call Boston.
I was 4-0 last week, I believe 3-0 this week, so it's not really about what I learned. It's about what everyone else should have finally learned. Don't bet against the Boston Uprising. It wasn't even just on a macro level. It was each fight, each individual map. They just pulled through when they shouldn't have.
We know Huck's paying you, but keep preaching. What about you, Josh?
What have I learned? I've learned that there's still a long way to go for the Washington Justice. Bless their little hearts. They're trying, but it's them and the Florida Mayhem just floundering at the bottom of this league at the moment, and they've got a long way upwards. I thought the addition of Ark and Sleepy would have some kind of results that you could see, not in terms of actually getting wins, but just looking like they were better. And individually, they still look pretty good, but as a team, it's not happening, Puckett. It ain't happening.
It ain't happening. Sorry, Washington. What about you, Brent?
I'm going to be real with you. I didn't learn much today. I mean, the games went pretty much how I expected them to, with the exception of Boston.
Yeah, apart from the first game that you got wrong.
Two of the three
But
games
again,
went the way I thought they would.
I kind of had a feeling as this game went in that there, I mean, that was the match that was going to be the closest.
Get
really.
out of here. You had a feeling.
But
If
I
you had
will
a
say
feeling, you
this,
should have predicted them.
what I did learn today, Josh, if you calm yourself for a second, okay? I like the way you said hello in the intro, Puckett. Reminded me of Gloucester. I don't know why. Just home. Reminded me of home. I got flashbacks of cheese rolling down hills.
Do you want me to start the show now, or should we just keep reflecting? All right. Well, the quest for the Dragons to make their first ever stage playoff continued today when Shanghai took on the Washington Justice. And as you heard from Josh, it was a stomping, especially the first half. It was all ding on the Sombra, but we picked up the action in the second half as we went to Blizzard World.
Well, look at this. This is about the best play that the Washington Justice made the whole time, was making sure that they kept track of where Ding was with their support to be able to shut him down. So they started to adapt in the second half, but there was also the game plan from the Dragons here was horrific on their offense. And so then they're stuck in a situation where they have to defend, what was it, 99.3%?
Yeah.
That's
Look,
not easy.
Washington played fine, but like I said this in the control when we were watching the games. Like, it seems like you can take the team out of Shanghai. You can't take the Shanghai out of the team because they played themselves so often, especially when it got to Gibraltar here. They just looked like they were completely lost throughout it. They're trying to make plays.
Is it at this point, are you just complacent? Because there was potential to go to a map 5 here on Gibraltar. I expected them to be at 100%.
I don't know. Shanghai like to run wacky stuff.
Well, it wasn't that wacky, though.
They run
on Blizzard World.
Quad support.
Yeah, so the
The
quad
intro
support stuff
Gibraltar,
was
that's not
kind of
wacky.
Yeah, it was like the Jinmu Revolt. So like switch off Doom, and he's like, he just takes himself out of team chat. He's like, I'm playing Doom.
It doesn't really play the Diva, and they would have had to switch everything else up. So I don't think it's that crazy. But
justifying it,
But
Josh.
no,
It
what
makes
I'm
too
saying
much
is,
sense.
I don't think it's like some crazy game plan from Dragons. I think it is complacency completely. Because when they came into Blizzard World, they weren't using their EMPs correctly, and they were just all running in, expecting to be able to roll over Justice. And okay, Justice are at the bottom of they're probably the worst team that we've got in the league at the moment. They'll have to battle with Florida Mayhem to figure out that one. But you can't just still wander into them without a game plan.
But just Young Jin just staying on Doom and then switching to Ana, it just seemed like very strange on Gibraltar. That's not like a game plan I see very often.
It's a weird game.
Sure.
End of the day, Shanghai gets the win. Pretty big win for them because now they're still in the playoff hunt. The Los Angeles Gladiators were only one win away from an undefeated stage, but the road there goes directly through the Boston Uprising, a team the Gladiators have never beaten. It all started off with RCK in the May. Yes, if you run it in comp, I hate you, but if your name's RCK, do it more often.
We touched on this, I think, in the half-times a lot, but this was really a battle as well between the coaching staff and a lot of their ideas coming to life in the form of these weird and wacky compositions and races at the end of the day. And I mean, it's it's kind of absurd to think, but I am genuinely being serious when I thought that this was going to be the closest match of the day.
Sure,
It was,
no, of course,
Yeah, but this clutch right here was just insane. You know, this is what I love about the trade is I love when trades work out for both teams. And both guys seem happier on both teams. RCK is very happy to be in Boston. I know that. Note's very happy to be on Dallas. Both teams have improved post-trade. I love when that happens in any sport, especially Overwatch.
It's so rare, though, to find a situation like that and it work out for both teams. But as this game progressed, I got the feeling that both teams actually were thinking too much about these wacky compositions, and then it was impacting how they were playing. This point B push here was very weird for both teams. You know, both of them trying to push. The Boston Uprising were using a Hanzo Genji attack on Hanamura point B, very strange, and then end up coming out with the win and take it 2-0 into the half.
They were just trying to recreate the lore, right? The Hanzo Genji trying to get
course.
into
Yeah,
from the video, man. Come
Well,
on.
another thing we didn't really touch on as well is this is a repeat of the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Brent.
I know a lot about traditional sports, so I'd throw that one in there.
Yes,
The Patriots versus the
It is
Rams.
the exact same ownership group.
Exact same ownership.
It's a super valid point.
I know my stuff.
Yeah, definitely
That's,
had as much on the line here today. Yeah. Rialto came around, and this one, of course, Boston up 2-1. Gladiators trying to force it to a game 5. It seemed like Boston, they just were so clutch today. Every single time they're scoring in overtime.
Well, again, give credit to the coaching staff as well for being able to take a lot of what the Gladiators are running. And this is what I love about Boston as a team. I think that they make do with the pieces they've got. They kind of get maximum value out of a lot of players that have the potential there, but perhaps not unlocked. You know, look at players like Colorhex, brought over from New Zealand, Kiwi territory, if you will, you know. Do Kiwis still exist? I don't know. I know they export.
Well, the people.
Hey, Brent, we got a graphic we should probably look at here, guys. This is Overwatch League history between these two teams from the inaugural season. It's now 5 straight for Boston, and look at those map count.
It's crazy, actually. It really is wild that the Gladiators have never beaten the Boston Uprising. Now, yes, Boston Uprising did go on a crazy streak in stage 2 and 3, of last year, that is. So 3 of those games were when Boston was absolutely at a peak. But stage 1, Gladiators were still getting into it as well. I guess the weird thing about this really is that they didn't play when Gladiators started getting good at the end of last year. Because when you think about when Boston were peaking, actually this makes perfect sense. Like, Boston were really good at the end of stage 1. Stage 2 and 3, they went on that crazy streak with Striker just hard carrying them. And then they don't play towards the end of the season. So it sounded crazy, but it makes sense.
Here's a look at the standings after some big games for the Dragons and the Uprising. Uprising, they're in 11th right now. Not out of playoff contention yet, but they need some math to go their way. Meanwhile, the Dragons, I mean, you got a +4 map count after your games today. This is a team in the running. Unfortunately, they run up against the Shock a little bit later.
I'm very excited to see where this shakes up in the final 2 teams that end up landing in the Stage 2 playoffs, because it's going to answer a lot of questions. I think it would be a shame if Seoul don't make it in as well. Another team that I think has been...
Well, who do you think deserve it? If you could just put any 2 teams in there, who would you put in there?
I think Seoul and Dragons.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Seoul and Dragons are the 2 teams that I would love to see in there the most.
You want to see the spark?
Hangzhou Chengdu, what are you guys talking about? What are you
You
talking
think they're
about?
better than Seoul, or are you just entertained by Chengdu?
I'm entertained by Chengdu, but I also think they're a legitimate team. It's beyond the kind of the circus tent kind of thing. I think they have figured a lot of things out. And yes, I think that the Spark have legitimately improved. That last game Sunday is definitely going to be a play-in game.
And Jinmu is our favorite player. Let's just admit that. Hex. We should just tell everybody.
That's true.
Jinmu's a god. All right, let's keep going. From teams on the bubble to one of the teams at the top of the leaderboard. You just saw it. The Vancouver Titans were looking to make history today. We'll break it all down for you. When we come back, it's the Watchpoint Postshow. Don't go anywhere. Woo! Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. Titans are on a historic run right now and came into their match against Toronto today looking for their 16th straight win in the Overwatch League and, of course, the new record. Were they able to get it, guys?
They certainly were. I mean, it looked a little closer than expected throughout this match. The first map, I was impressed that with Toronto Defiant putting up some resistance, actually. With the moving Ivy back over to the Zarya, I mean, we'll talk about his grabs later on, but the move itself is actually a good one, I think.
Yeah. It seemed really smart. And yes, it was so strange because I was casting this. I was like, okay, it's 1-1. Okay, Junkertown matters. But it never felt that way. It felt inevitable that Vancouver was going to win. Toronto had some good moments. I thought Neko's Ana was a revelation today. He played very, very well. But he also had some of those typical Neko plays where he's just off on his own. He gets isolated and killed.
Yeah, that's a good point, though, Hex. And I think as well, we kind of lose sight at how ridiculous the Vancouver Titans are as a team.
Right.
Because we just kind of expect them to win now.
Yeah.
As a reoccurring
It'll be a shock.
I was really impressed, though, with Toronto taking a map in the first half. I think that might have been one of the bigger shockers of the day. Were there any concerns for you in Vancouver, though, or did you know that the second half was going to be all the triple-triple?
I had a feeling they were going to step up quite big after that halftime, honestly. Usually, when you drop a map at the half and you're Vancouver Titans, they're going to be giving that their all. I mean, they are a team as well that can sometimes just loosen up a little bit, maybe not take their opponents as seriously.
I think that's a big thing in this match. I think the difference between the Vancouver Titans coasting and Vancouver when there's a lot on the line is a massive difference. I mean, this team turns up when it's required. And in the second half, yeah, okay, they played a little looser on Junkertown, but Kings Row was a bit of a thrashing, and it's a fantastic map for them. And then we got to see some Haksal Genji as well on Junkertown.
Junkertown actually wasn't that close. I mean, they just didn't have a very good defense, but their offense maybe got stopped once and just rolled all the way through. So it seemed a lot closer. It was just because Junkertown's like a 20-minute map no matter what side you're on.
That's true, that's true. I love, actually, that Vancouver Titans are still keeping that Sombra Genji dive available to use. So that even when, I mean, we had a discussion a bunch of times about, okay, is the trick to beating Titans trying to force them away from the triple Titan triple support? But they still look really good when Bumper moves to the Winston and they have Haksal on Genji. So it's difficult to beat this team, Puckett, although you might be able to tell that already by the fact they're on a win streak.
Just 16 maps, no big deal. Well, Toronto showed some fight early on in this one. Some missed opportunities by Ivy Zarya set them back. So Josh, let's talk about Ivy. You said it's a good move to put him back on Zarya, but what were the bad moves?
Oh, the bad moves were the gravitons. Oh, it was like he had a broken Q button. It was like someone unleashed a cat that was jumping over his keyboard on stage. It was really, really quite shocking bad. I think Janu ate 2 of them, or maybe even more, actually. But
it was 2 just at Oasis, so I think he got 3 or 4.
And then also, he had a bunch that didn't hit anybody as well. Just whiffed them. It was super strange to watch.
Jeno got his head hard. After he ate a couple on the first ones, he started looking for him, started tracking. If you look at Junkertown in particular, you can watch him track him and then just throw one right into a wall.
Well, if you missed the gravitons, I think we got them for you. Here's a quick look. And also, Ivy taking to social media.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, maybe my gravits be rust.
This was at the halftime as well. This was in the half. Like, it was bothering him so much that he took to Twitter at the half and he was like, oh, maybe my gravs be rust.
I can respect it.
I think we have a new group chat title.
That's so good.
Get me out of that chat. 4 a.m. anime talk all day. All right, well, the Titans do continue to tear through the league, and with today's win, they earned a spot in the history books. Big congratulations to this team. 16 match wins in a row. These guys are showing no signs of stopping. So it begs the question, Brent, are the Titans the best team to ever play Overwatch?
Yes, I think right now, I think you can make a very solid argument that that is the case. They're 16 match wins and they're not slowing down. I mean, this is, considering the fact that they can just keep this going, keep building up this number, that doesn't even take into account as well their previous performances. When this team was runaway, the entire squad is pretty much existing now in the form of the Vancouver Titans. These guys were the champions and Korean contenders as well leading into this. They're, you know, if you don't even consider the Overwatch League matches that they've won, they've got even more matches won beyond that. Like, these guys are just on an absolute tear. Their teamwork is unmatched in terms of their chemistry, considering how long these guys have been together for. I mean, the only team I think you could make an argument for, realistically, is New York Excelsior. But can you when they're not winning the playoffs now?
Well, that's an interesting one, I think, because, yes, the Vancouver Titans have a bunch of history that goes back a long way before the Overwatch League, but that isn't the Overwatch League caliber games. So I think really when you look back at last year
Wolf
and
would disagree.
NYXL's dominance, I'm sure Wolf would disagree, yeah. When you look at NYXL's dominance last year and the fact that they won Stage 2 and Stage 3, they never were anything other than in the finals of every stage. So they either finished second or first every single stage. Unbelievable, never before seen dominance over the Overwatch scene for an entire year, dealt with different metas as well, and their teamwork was clinical. They've come in, they were undefeated in the regular season games this year up until they lost that game to Atlanta, which, I mean, who writes the scripts for this league? I have no idea. But I think...
It's me. It's me. I do. I'm Vince McMahon Jr.
I think it's too early to call the Vancouver Titans the best team of all time, because NYXL are still there, and they still haven't properly been dethroned yet.
Quick counterpoint to that as well, though. New York Excel, I mean, they were the top team, the top dog, the only elite team, I'd argue, last year. And there wasn't really any other teams roughly at the same caliber as them as they were.
Yeah, because they outclassed everybody else, because they were the best.
Right. We're talking about being dethroned, because I believe we still have the Overwatch League defending champion London Spitfires in this conversation. Look, Apex was cute, Contenders was cute. I'm talking Barclays Center champions. They show up at the right time. They save energy. They're like hibernating this season.
Hibernating,
and then they flip a switch. It doesn't matter. Did you see their run through the finals last year? It wasn't even close through a lot of these teams. Complete domination. So, I mean, to steal a line from one of my favorite commentators of all time, they're clutch, and clutch is everything in life.
Well, they were almost close to not even making the playoffs last year as well, though. We could have lived in a world where London didn't even make it.
Hey, close up the counts of horseshoes and hand grenades, my friend. They got it done.
All right, well, I think the jury's still out on this one. When we come back, we're keeping up our run of coaching legends at the desk this week. Harsha, that's right, Harsha of the Titans joins the Watchpoint show after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back. It's the Watchpoint Post Show. Our next guest is the assistant coach on a team that is currently on a ridiculous run. I'm super excited to have this man. We got Harsha on the desk. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? Pretty good?
Doing pretty good. Look, first of all, can we talk about this haircut?
No.
Brent just said you look straight out of Naruto.
I mean, I was saying he looked like Naruto because he was doing this in front of his lips.
Ah.
Like he looked like he's...
Puckett doesn't understand.
I don't watch the animes. I'm an adult. All right. Hey! All right. Well, Harsha, I first met you shortly after I met these two chuckleheads, Brent and Josh, over at Contenders, and I saw you are on a podcast with them. How did you get to where you're at as a successful adult human being today?
I don't know about that much, but I just got offered a job with Shock and took the opportunity and then ended up with Titans. That's pretty much it.
And what were your strengths? Like, why did these franchises come after you? Did you apply for this? What was the whole process like as a coach?
So along with Josh, I used to make a bunch of analytical videos and stuff like that. Shock ended up giving me a trial because of that. They saw some of them and then they let me come and spectate scrims, and then after that, basically just got a job offer.
There you go. It seemed to work out for a while there. And now
Easy.
on the Titans. Brent, you're up next.
All right, so what were your expectations then for the team coming into this, into the Overwatch League? And I guess as an organization as well, because you pick up Runaway, this squad, who are just phenomenal. Were you expecting them to be as dominant as you are now in the league?
So coming in, I knew we'd be a good team. I didn't really expect us to go, 16-0, or I think that's what we're at right now. But I definitely thought we had a chance to contend for the Stage 1 title and then a chance to contend, for the rest of the season. But coming in and going undefeated has really been, I think, a really cool experience, and we definitely didn't expect that at all.
Okay, so as a coaching staff coming into this, right, with a team that's been long-standing for so long, what has it been like, I guess, coaching these players with so much chemistry already built?
They make the job really easy, is what I would say. They're all like really good guys. They're all really receptive to feedback, and they're always willing to learn, and they work really hard. So it's just a good treat working with these guys.
Okay, and a final question from me.
Keep going,
Happy
Brent.
to know is how much of the coaching is I guess pre-planned in game. How much of it is in game, sort of adapting on the fly for you guys for the Vancouver Titans?
Definitely, our head coach Pagion makes a lot of the game plan decisions, and then the team, they have so much experience that they're able to, when they get into a tough situation in game, they're able to think about situations that have happened before in the past and kind of draw from that, what the right answer is, and lean on that basically.
Harsha, how's your Korean?
It's coming along.
It's coming along. What's it like to, live and try to communicate with everybody?
So I have some experience doing that with Shock, just because we had an all-Korean coaching staff at the end of season 1, and then I lived actually with Architect in Choi Hyobin. So I learned a bit of Korean there, and they learned a bit of English, and it's kind of the same situation here with Titans. A lot of the players know at least like basic English, and we can communicate with that.
All right, fair enough.
What is it like? So you used to work for the San Francisco Shock. We had Krusty on yesterday. He was talking good things about you. Only good things,
Yeah,
don't
I'm sure.
worry. What's it like to go from San Francisco Shock, who was struggling last year, honestly, but was started to make trends upwards towards the end of the season, and see them have so much success without you being there? I mean, not that was the change that they made that made you better, but what's that like from the outside now that you're rivals to be able to see them improve?
I think it's worked out okay for me as well. But
That's true.
No, leaving Shock, I definitely knew there was still going to be an upward trending team, and I knew they were going to. I remember I told Sinatra before I left, you guys are probably going to be one of the best teams in the league, so don't worry. And it turned out that way. But that team's expectation is always to build for the future, and then now it's the future. So they're here.
What was it like playing against them then as well? What were the emotions like in that game in the Stage 1 finals? When it was such a nutty match, you went all the way right to the wire, and you've got the history with both of the teams.
So that was probably the most emotional match of Overwatch ever for me, just because I have history with both of the teams, and I really didn't want. We had actually beaten Shock before earlier in that stage, and so I really didn't want it to be a situation where we won earlier and then they came back and beat us when it mattered most. So when we were able to clutch it out, it was really exhilarating, I would say.
It's a pretty good win. It went to
Pretty
a
good
Game
win.
7. Pretty good comeback there after we all thought it was going to be the Shock. But speaking of the Shock, we had Krusty on the show yesterday, and he said they expect a rematch against the Titans in the finals, potentially for Stage 2. He said the Shock are going to win it. Anything to say back to Krusty?
So there are a lot of strong teams, I would say, in Overwatch League right now. I think Krusty should worry about the next game first, then start thinking about us when he gets to the finals. But definitely, we expect to see Shock as well, and we're going to see the same result, I think.
That's very calm. Brenton told me you would spit that hot fire. It's the least fiery take
The
ever.
trouble is, he's been media trained.
I
now,
appreciate the respect. Last real question: where can I get this awesome jacket?
I'm not sure.
I'll steal it from
Maybe
you later.
Fanatics.com.
So, Harsha, we got the tough stuff out of the way. It's time to have a little fun. We're going to do some rapid-fire questions. I know you watched the post show, so here how it works if you haven't. I'm going to ask you a question. First thing that comes to the top of your head, we're going to go down the line, back and forth. You ready? First one. If you picked an actual gamer tag, you went with your first name, I went with my last name. But if you weren't lazy and created a real gamer tag, what would it be?
So the gamer tag I used outside of just Harsha is called Flea.
Flea.
Yeah.
Any reason behind that?
It was just from an anime.
All right, keep it on, Brett. Keep it on.
What player is most likely to be late for scrims?
Bumper.
Naughty boy.
Most likely to giggle in a serious moment.
Bumper.
Most likely to argue with you.
Twilight.
I saw your house video. Who's the best ping pong player in the house?
Me.
Nice.
Who in your house is the workout partner?
Somin-Soo. A lot of them actually go to the gym, but Somin-Soo the most.
I read from your video it was only Somin-Soo and you.
Yeah, but they've all started
2
going to
buff
the gym.
points, huh?
No, it's a team of buff boys.
Right. What's the over-under on the Titans winning 30 games in a row? You're currently at 16. What about 30?
I don't want to make a bet on that. That's hard. That's hard.
Which player is the best English?
Maybe Hureg, because he lived here for a year.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Are you going to make it 20 games in a row?
That means we win stage 2, right?
Correct.
Yeah, let's do it.
Doing it. All right. When's the next time we get to see this again?
Oh, no.
I mean, Harsha's a guest appearance at the end as well. Anyone who's seen this video
Yeah,
for the
unfortunately,
first
you have to watch it all the way through now.
Oh, no.
Whenever Johnny wants to, film his restroom again, just
Why the grapes? Why the,
Oh, the podcast
So,
was called Through the Grapevine.
Can I give you some developers' insight
Yeah,
into this?
real quick.
We bought $80 worth of grapes to fill in our bathtub, and there's not enough grapes to fill a bathtub. So we tried to fill it with water to make the grapes float, making it look like it was full, but grapes don't float.
Grapes don't float.
So we poured like 500 grams of salt in to try and increase the density of the water, and that didn't work.
So you were eating salty grapes.
Salty grapes, yeah.
The things you do so that Brenji can wear tights and have a pool noodle in the shower. Incredible stuff. Well, Harsha, we're not done with you yet. It's time for the most over-the-top moments of today. I think that one takes the cake, but let's go ahead and start at number 5. It's the most over-the-top moments of the day. Harsha, kick us off at number 5. What did you think when you saw Gamsu do this from the top ropes?
Oh, that's so
oh, that's a bumper play.
Would you be upset if Bumper did that?
Absolutely not.
I love it.
What do the coaches actually think when Bumper makes these mental plays? Do you all just love it?
Definitely it's hard on us at times, but he's the kind of player that lives on the momentum.
At number 4, it's Kellix showing off that he can still support with the best of them, tossing them off the rails, the 2-piece. It looks glorious.
They call that the boom bada bing in the industry.
Do they?
No one does that. No one.
No, that's well known. It's well known.
In the pooping industry, actually, it's clearly the boom, bada, bing. All right, let's keep this one rolling. I don't understand why you guys still work here.
Oh,
we had
no.
HR training. You were told this is inappropriate.
I
and yet-
understand completely.
Look at those.
Catch me at the club. How
Brent's
about
got
that?
the Travolta. Josh is just doing sassy Josh.
This was not on camera. This is behind the scenes.
Clearly,
We've been
it's on
exposed.
camera. Do you know how cameras work?
You guys still have work tomorrow. Don't worry. RCK clutches up on Oasis at number 2. Get these hips off my screen. Number 2, it's RCK. So clutch on this Sombra. We thought this was going to be DK and the boys bringing it back for the Gladiators, and then this happened.
Where's the credit for AIM gone, huh? With the clutch Q press, giving him the nano, giving him the ability to pop off like that.
This overtime lasted forever. It actually lasted an age. It made me kind of thankful that whenever we normally see this map, it's ended with like a big grab where everyone gets sucked in and
Right.
they all die. But when DPS characters are played, it goes on forever.
And last but not least, the Titans shatter the record books with their 16 straight win and counting. What happened at backstage when you guys were in that dugout?
Definitely a lot of relief. We gave up a map to Toronto, and they actually improved a lot over the Dallas break, I think. So we're relieved to take the win and, happy to break the record.
Get our number 1 spot today, man. Big congratulations to not only yourself, the whole team, the whole franchise who's put this squad together. That's it for your most over-the-top moments of the day. But we're not done with you yet, Harsha. You have the Guest of Honor Award to get to go over our cheer leaderboards here. What do you see?
Looks like Vancouver Titans are breaking into the top 10. Let's see if we can raise that.
I like
Match
that.
our standings.
I like that. And how about the individuals? Anyone else impressing you on our top 10 list?
Atlanta Reign. DeFriend not playing, but they're still up at the top.
Still at the top. Here are the big donators. Who's your favorite? Go.
Oh, Lakush Bobby.
Lakush Bobby. He knew it. He was ready.
It has to be.
It wasn't Cad Tick's Rage at number 7?
It's not a bad name.
I think that's Chaotix Rage. I speak gamer.
Yeah, I thought it was a D from here. It's not. It's an O. All right.
Palm.
Great job, Harsha. And speaking of Twitch, make sure you guys pick up the Overwatch League All Access Pass on twitch.tv so you can check out a live Q&A with one of my favorite guys in the building. It's going to be Ark from the Washington Justice. He'll be on this desk right after this. That's going to do it for today's show. And for Harsha, any final words for the fans out there? Everyone's been following your stuff since before the Overwatch League existed. Now we all get to see you succeed with the Titans. Anything you want to say to the people at home?
I just want to thank you guys for supporting me, supporting for the team, and supporting our players. We'll keep trying to win for you guys.
I have great news, Harsha. The show's not done, but you're done. We're going to let you go party. But when we come back, we'll be breaking down the games tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
We got a big Week 5 Saturday coming up. We're going to see tomorrow as the Spitfire face off against the Houston Outlaws. The Reign going up against the Excelsior for a second time. Can they upset them again? A little bit later, it's the Dynasty looking for their playoff chances. They go up against the 16-0 Titans here in the Overwatch League. And, of course, the Hunters will be finishing the day against the Valiant. So, Hex, let's start with you. What are you most pumped for on Saturday?
I don't think you need to ask me that question. Was there an orange panda bear on that screen? The answer is yes. Chengdu is still my favorite team to watch. Let's get that far in the sky. Trashing on Valiant, very likely.
Jinmu, he's our favorite. Remember that. Breton, you want to go next?
Sure, why not? I'm going
right.
to be looking forward to, I guess, the match of Seoul versus Vancouver. I think Vancouver, you know, are they going to keep this win streak going? Who knows? Seoul looking mighty fine and improved, aren't they? Hey?
They are. What is this voice?
It's getting weird here at Watchpoint.
I think you've
A serial
both missed
killer
out
voice.
the key match here. It's the opportunity for New York to be able to get revenge on Atlanta Reign. That was the craziest upset we've ever had in Overwatch League, I think.
I mean, the
and
difference
there's an
is-
opportunity for them to come back and
The
clap.
difference is you're taking this segment seriously.
And you wanted an orange panda bear, and you, I don't know what you did.
I chose a good game.
I suppose.
Yeah, I'm excited for Saturday. I'm
Soul
going to be
drop
watching
names to
from my
Valiants.
couch. Going to be celebrating with some friends. Malik is going to be on the desk tomorrow, and the whole crew will be with him. So make sure you guys tune in. That's going to do it for our show tonight. Tomorrow's action kicks off at 11:30. Set your clocks. 11:30 Pacific for those of you watching on the East Coast or in Europe or somewhere in Australia because you just woke up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.